If you know anything about golf, you would know that Cameron Smith has practically taken over in 2022. With the Players' Championship under his belt, the player also went on to secure the 150th Open Championship at St. Andrews. If that wasn't enough, he also attempted to break a world record, and the fans were here for it. Stay tuned as we talk all about it. First up, fans show Cam Smith their support. After his many victories, the 29-year-old golfer decided to take some time off and head back home to Australia before the Fortinet Australian PGA Championship. But in true Cam Smith fashion, he just couldn't wait to grab the next big opportunity that came his way. In his native state of Queensland, Cam Smith set out to break the Guinness World Record for the largest golf lesson ever alongside his coach Grant Field. The event took place in Brisbane, and hundreds of golfers came out to join Smith for a 30-minute session at the Royal Queensland Golf Club. Of course, this included hundreds of his fans who were there to show their favorite golfer some much-needed support. Sadly, though, the golfer fell short of the number of people required to break the record, but the crowd still gave him a warm welcome and cheered him on every second of the way.
And that's what he produces. A smart play. Didn't want to flirt with that pin too much. Anything just right of it with feet off the green. And
next up, what does Smith have to say? In the words of Smith himself, he was overwhelmed to see so many of his fans coming out to support him. Despite not having broken the record, he was still amazed at the event that he managed to pull off. The golfer thanked everyone who showed up and acknowledged their efforts in his world record attempt.
Terrific roll. He's the best in the business. He's proved that again here this week. And the lead for Cameron Smith.
Top it all off, this was Smith's first time back home in 3 years, and for him to be welcomed in such a way was nothing short of emotional. It was the perfect way for him to kick off a big week before the PGA Championship started. Followed by, the PGA talks about Smith. After Smith's attempt to set a Guinness World Record, PGA Chief Executive Gavin Kirkman went on to talk about how amazing the entire thing really was. Kirkman talked about the event that was conducted in collaboration with the Brisbane City Council and said that it would have been wonderful for a PGA player to have secured the record. However, Kirkman continued to say that he was proud of Smith and that the event was a success regardless of the record. Everyone involved in the process had a fun time, and it was quite a way for Smith to be welcomed back home after a long time. Kirkman then went on to talk about the upcoming Australian PGA Championship and how big of an achievement this is for the brand new tour. And seeing just how excited the fans were to see Smith setting his record, the PGA is all set for a huge crowd to turn up at the event too.
Looks really good. That was much needed. Little walk.
Let's talk about who holds the record. The world record for the largest golf lesson is currently held by the Mayakoba Golf Classic Tournament. The record was set all the way back in 2011 when the tournament hosted 1,073 people at the practice facility of El Camaleon Golf Club. The lesson was conducted by PGA Tour player Esteban Toledo, who had conducted several golf clinics at the time, but never one with more than 400 people. So when he had to give a lesson to over 1,000 people, he was a bit nervous. Not only did he want to set a world record, but he also wanted everyone to learn something, and that's what you call true dedication to one's craft. Finally, Smith's next big plan. Cam Smith might not have achieved what he had hoped for, but he isn't going to let a setback knock him down. It seems like the golfer is spending no time regretting not setting the record. Why? Well, because he has a bunch of other things on his plate, and he is going full speed ahead.
One more good swing of the wedge might be enough, and that's what he produced.
Not only is the 29-year-old player headlining the Australian PGA Championship at Royal Queensland,
and there it is. Cam Smith is the first PGA Tour winner in 2022. 34 under par, a brand new all-time scoring record.
but he also has big plans to win the Australian Open that's starting in December. According to Smith himself, he has won the PGA twice, and while he would love to win the third one, he really has set his sights on the Australian Open. Why? Because that's a trophy that he doesn't have in his collection just yet. Considering the fact that the Australian Open is the most prestigious championship that an Aussie player can win, it's no surprise that Cam also wants his name on it. Moving on, let's talk about Cameron Smith and Rory McIlroy. Cameron Smith and Rory McIlroy are two of the biggest names in golf right now, so when the two were up against each other at the 150th Open, the fans knew that it was going to be the match of a lifetime. But game rivalry aside, it seems like McIlroy was really concerned about Smith's future in the sport, which is why, a few days after being defeated by him at St. Andrews, McIlroy called up Smith to offer him some advice. According to Smith, the golfer had called him to try and convince him against joining LIV Golf. While Rory didn't really say it outright, Cam believed that he definitely wanted him to reconsider his decision. For those of you who don't know, McIlroy is one of the many PGA players who have gone on the record to speak up against LIV Golf, so it makes sense for him to want to talk a fellow golf star into staying with the PGA. Now for what does Smith have to say? Right after his major maiden win at the Open in July, Cam Smith became the first player in the top 10 rankings to join LIV. The fact that this announcement came right after the win took a lot of people by surprise, considering how controversial the Saudi-backed tour has been. According to Smith, when a journalist asked him if his move to LIV was confirmed, he responded by saying that he had just won the British Open, and the fact that people wanted to talk more about his move than his big win said a lot. To top it all off, his call with Rory McIlroy also made him think about whether or not he was making the right decision. In Smith's own words, McIlroy congratulated him, but the conversation turned hostile a bunch of times, with his opponent throwing a few jabs at him here and there. But Smith had made up his mind. The only thing that was left to do was sign the papers. And considering the fact that his deal with LIV is rumored to have been worth over $140 million, it's no surprise that he ended up taking the deal. Regardless of the money, though, there was a huge chunk of time when the golfer was worried about what people will think of him and his decision. Coming up, Smith's deal with LIV Golf is a business decision. Speaking up about his decision to join LIV Golf, Smith has claimed that it is more of a business decision than anything else. The tour schedule allows Smith to spend a lot more time in Australia, something he hasn't been able to do with PGA. Despite all the drama that followed his decision to join LIV Golf, Smith is still eligible to play the Australian Open, and that's what he's the most excited about. The Aussie player hasn't been able to play on his own soil for a while now, and the fact that LIV Golf allows him to go back to that part of his life is more appealing than any amount of money. Of course, the decision came with its fair share of criticism, and some fans even thought that Smith's future in the sport was in some serious danger. However, the golfer himself seems to be pretty happy with the whole thing. Lastly, why did Smith leave the PGA? According to Smith, leaving the PGA wasn't easy for him, considering that he had a pretty successful run with the tour. Smith believes that the PGA could have offered players like Jason Day and Mark Leishman so much more, but they decided to let their feud with LIV Golf come in the way of all of that. This was one of the major reasons why Smith reconsidered his relationship with PGA. According to him, "I just don't think it's all that profitable for them, and that's kind of the reason behind it all." And while it's true that the golfer will be earning much more with the LIV, he has confirmed that the money is not what he is in it for. Talking about the process, Smith said that he has spent more time in boardrooms than the golf course in the past couple of months finalizing his deal. But at the end of the day, his biggest goal is to be a great player. As far as the feud between the two tours is concerned, he is excited for all the competition that will ensue. It doesn't matter about prize money. The thing that gets us going as competitors is winning, claims Smith. And that's a wrap for this video. What do you think of Cam Smith's future in LIV and the world of golf in general? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.